Darkness falls like a heavy veil. In your silent room, you set sail, a passive mind, a watchful eye, as life's mysteries pass you by. Candles make the tiny room warm. The woman's eyes are black dots. She wipes ooze from the young man's eyes on a tea towel with little snowmen on it. His nose ruffles, head cocked. He sneezes. The smell of throw up and mildew. He looks crooked on the cot, buried in quilts. He feels liquid dribble from his left nostril, and his mother dabs his nose, revealing the liquid to be viscous and black. "You're not really you, sweetie," she says. That doesn't make sense. Vomit shoots from his mouth. She catches it in a Christmas bucket with snowman stickers. Not a drop spills. His eyes are harvest moons climbing over the mountains between them. He coughs. "I can handle it, Mom. I've got bills to pay and other things, like my content." "You make ASMR videos," she interrupts. "Someone has to," he begins. "No, they don't. The hearing impaired have ways of hearing, hun. Your yelling is absurd," she says without blinking. He frowns slightly. "I wish you'd told me that sooner. I thought you liked them," he says in a soft grumble. She eyes the old man preoccupied with his phone, leaning against the blue toy chest. Snowmen are painted neatly on its wooden exterior with plastic sparkles. Her eyelids shut hard. "Where am I?" he asks. "You're home." "My home?" he asks. "My home?" she asks, with a similar cadence. "Home." The wooden paneling is painted off-white and is flaking. Pictures of family members in black and white look miserable, except for her, who is beaming. The windows are fogged up. The crucifix hangs upside down on the door. The priest fumbles around on his phone. The sound of a puzzle game chirps and whistles. The mother has a slight eye twitch. "Why is this upside down?" the leaning man asks, batting at it lightly, eyes locked on his device. He's dressed in an all-black priest's outfit with a small white collar at his Adam's apple. "We kept on trying to put it right side up, but we couldn't get it to stay, so we said fuck it and left it like that," she says, turning her eyes on her son, warmth returning to her face. "Shit," he says, kicking over the small heater. It buzzes on the floor. He grasps at the air towards the mother. "The bucket," he says. "Now." She scrambles a bit, almost losing balance. The priest grabs it and spits his gum into the black vomit. Hate it when it loses flavor. He rights the fallen heater and returns to his game. "So?" the mother asks, focusing on the old man, who gazes into blue light. "Fuck, I don't know." She rolls her eyes. Her son looks nauseous. "I'm really hungry." "I know," she says. "No, Mom, I'm really hungry," he says, with moons waxing. "I keep giving you food." The priest laughs once. "Yeah, about that," he says. He looks up at the cross, dangling upside down. Everyone's eyes follow. "Oh, no, don't worry about that thing. It's just broken." He shakes his head. "He's a vampire." "He's a vampire," she says, with a smile, placing her hands on her temples. "Told you I was good." The priest uses as an inhaler. "You just have to have faith," he says in between breaths. He shakes it like a can of paint. "We'll take it from here, Father," she says. Fucking hell. she whispers. I gotta get to a football match which starts in, he gasps. I'm leaving. Bye. That's it, she asks. You did nothing. Keep him out of sunlight, for now. Supposing... He's a vampire, he says, pocketing his phone. I've notified the Vatican. Thank God, I think, she says. Yeah, it'll take about 3 months to a decade. Good luck. He smiles with his eyes closed and lumbers off. There is a sound of plastic and metal clanking off of wooden furniture. Fuck, he says a handful of times. The door makes a quiet thud, and the wreath falls off with a clink. She looks at her son. I'm not sure what to feed you. She thrusts her wrist out. I could always... She touches the veins. No, Mom. He shakes his head. What time is it? He asks. 6:42, she says, just after dark. Who do you hate? Hate? She winces. She looks up at the cross. I know this sounds strange. I'm thinking, she says, stopping sometimes to almost mouth words, but falls silent. I'm not sure I hate anyone. What about the priest? She claps and points to him with a grin. Go for it. He smiles back, and shadows begin to engulf him. Outside, in the mist, the priest jumps on his electric scooter, tires spinning on wet road. In the shadows, you remain, a quiet soul, untouched by pain. The world outside, a distant show, as you, the enigma, simply go. Virtually every writer I know would rather be a musician. Kurt Vonnegut. After silence, that which comes nearest to expressing the inexpressible is music. Aldous Huxley. In the beginning. The day inches closer to its end. Dense fog envelops the forest, tightly gripping it white-knuckled. The air remains still, charged with an unspoken presence. Rain has left behind vast puddles, deep and clear. Verdant foliage and writhing insects infuse life into the wilderness. The buzz of tiny wings, the chirping of crickets, the scent of a great fire linger. Inside a fogged-up Plymouth Voyager, somewhere in the thickest thickets of the Cascadian evergreens. He watches as his camcorder's bright LCD screen blinks. A red battery symbol flashes before fading into darkness. He wears a faded red plaid jacket. He scratches his bristly chin. His clothes are coated with white dog hairs. He smells like one, too. He sets the camera on the dashboard. Sorry, gang. The camera's out of juice, he says, flashing a grin towards the rear seat. All the juice. Her clothes are clean and scent-free. She wears the same jacket as his, but a deep forest green. Her sightline barely clears the middle seats. She flicks a barbecue lighter until it ignites and holds it to an old propane bottle. A shared chuckle passes between them. If you're gonna leave our bodies here, you might as well start with me. He laughs again. Let it cook for a bit and then chuck it at my head. She clears her throat. Preoccupied with the lantern she raises to the flickering light on the headboard. She studies its worn patina in the tangerine glow. The mass of wavy, thick black hair in the driver's seat remains motionless. A cigarette arches over the seat from his lap to the back. She catches it with her shirt, hands full. After she sets the bottle down beside her with the lantern, The smoke is thrown back, striking the windshield and landing in the ashtray in the center console. "I don't smoke, idiot," she says. A stream gurgles with frozen spring water over rocks rounded by the current. Salmon swim in sparse numbers upstream. An owl can be heard amidst the chorus of nocturnal life. When the moon peers through the cloud cover, its golden light feels like an enormous, unblinking eye. The driver, clad in black denim, scoffs. He rhythmically drums his bony fingers on the steering wheel in a blast beat. "Well," he asks, the rhythm of his beat momentarily slowing. "How many batteries did you bring?" she inquires, staring at the lamp. He hurls one into the mound of camping gear at the center of the van. It bounces off and almost falls out the open door. None, apparently. The driver, covered in spikes and local band patches, turns to face them, both, remaining stoic. He stops drumming for a moment. "The beast," he says, adding a final fill on the wheel, then steps out of the van with an imposing camera in hand. "Yes!" The lantern hisses before illuminating the forest like white phosphorus. The others brace slightly. "It's alive!" Guided by the lantern's warm glow and burdened by the expensive camera, the trio embarks on their journey. A subtle change in temperature or pressure almost goes unnoticed. She inquires about it. No response. "Huh?" they almost ask, but continue, not waiting for a reply. They begin their exploration into the darkness of the woods. His thumb slips and hits the button, and the camera starts to record. "Guys," she asks, the three of them locked onto something up the emaciated trail. She kills the torch. "Hey!" They stop. The camera picks up something beyond them. Is someone there? They close in on what seems like a distant light. Snap! It pops and crackles before them, inches from their faces. The bright glowing orb sputters and floats around in a lazy dance. The two flannel-clad remain statues. Capturing it on video, they study the light, trying to focus on its features. "Beautiful," she whispers, almost reaching out to it. "The heck is it?" "Spider," she scolds. The light lowers in brightness, becoming pale enough to make out its features. It's a bug?" ask the two guys. A fist-sized lightning bug hovers over directly in front of the camera. It stares blankly into the lens and looks around at the three of them. It was almost animated, surreal, a living oil painting. "Huh?" it asks. They wince. "Oh, yeah, I guess we're bugs. Come out, guys, it's cool." Buzzing and chatter fills the claustrophobic space between the trees and ferns. "Yeah, my name's Francois. This is our forest." The ferns explode, with little lightning bugs who emerge handfuls at a time, hovering closer, making a loose circle until hundreds surround them. It's an enchanted forest, or whatever. Cool, right? A story by Jared Doherty Walsh. "We thought you were Steve," one of them said from the circle. The humans were speechless. "But you weren't Steve," said another. "Yeah, welcome, friends," Francois said, making eye contact with them. "Follow us if you want to live," he said in a deep voice as they began floating away down the trail. It's an old reference. Anyways. "Dude," Spider said, slowly. "Come on, guys, let's go," said the neon insect. "There's pie." "Heck yes," the three of them chime in, turning to look at each other once, before grabbing each other's hands and stepping through the muddy, uneven trail towards the smell of campfire. They follow, their glowing new friends off into the night. Beyond reality, 3 figures watch. After what feels like hours, and also less than seconds, the trio and their floating, glowing comrades are transmuted into a shining city, nestled within the trees. It's as if they're descending deeper and deeper into the forest floor. The city rises in a never-ending loop that seems to glide through emotions never felt and times that never existed. And that feeling reminiscent of being sucked through a black hole only made exclusively from wholesome, somehow, light that lit up everything imaginable, even dreams they will never have. So there's this individual, or rather, a shadowy mass, a living nightmare you might say. It's the reason we can't indulge in our favorite pizza, smokes, or beer anymore, among other things, Francois declares in the neon light of the metropolis now enveloping them. We can't get that stuff here. The ingredients are, oh, so hard to come by. The gang has ventured into a different dimension. Holy shit. It's always fun to have visitors, the vaguely hornet-like humanoid says as the gang become lucid in this bustling utopia. Especially ones that aren't technically supposed to be here, he says into Spider's dumbfounded right ear from a foot away. Hovering vehicles, holographic 3D images of advertisements in languages from different foundations of logic, buildings that transcend the sky and defy the notion of geometry or even structural rigidity. These sights sober them like a dunk in a vat of sub-zero synthetic fluids. The city center becomes their focal point, surrounded by hundreds of completely different species of people indifferent to their presence. But yeah, Shadow the Man, he chuckles, casting a glance at one of his alien wingmen who flanks them, making a foreign gesture with his hand. He's been preventing people from entering our enchanted woods. Another hornet-like being hands him an electronic vaporizer of some sort. He exhales an ever-increasing, bright neon, color-changing cloud. That guy casts an overwhelmingly difficult spell to encompass the whole region. We're magical beings, so messing with the ancient guardian, that's not really our thing. Think rock, paper, scissors. They gather for a moment around a giant blazing furnace. It appears to have burned eternally, emanating an astral golden light. Here, the 3 transcend their previous selves. In convulsions, they seem to forget, just in time for the next one. They become frighteningly aware of the diverse realms between dimensions and so much more, feeling it only in their bones, but in every possible variation of their ancestors' bones as well. It seems that insanity, or rather the fear of it, is a distant memory in this continuity. Bigger things to worry about, I guess. They remain static within their simple personas for now. You're musicians. They shrug, exchanging glances of a kind of "we've come this far" attitude, not knowing just how many times this exact moment has passed. Sorry. You guys will find your legs soon enough. I know this is trippy. At first. He presses the elevator button. You're safe. You're in good hands now. We're lousy musicians, says the out-of-place human covered in dog hair, with a bewildered chuckle. We get a couple thousand views a month, and that's on every platform combined. He's met with hysteria from every person in the vicinity within the lobby. They hear a youthful voice gasp amidst the laughter. Wait, Spider asks. This is all fine and dandy, but why aren't we losing our minds completely right now? Francois smiles. Good question, Spider. I'll inform you when we get to my hive. Technically, you are flipping out. Royally. We've just isolated your psychosis within a magic pocket dimension. You know. Anyways. Come on. The hyper-futuristic building they entered seemed to vibrate. It was impossibly clean, imbued with a feeling of home. The people surrounding them seemed not to want to look directly at them. His associates fade into the background as if they've never been there before. "We admire your work," Francois says. "You could say," pausing for a moment to soak it all in. "I don't know about where you're from, but in the inner dimensions, we fuck with you. You're the architects." "Wait, what does that mean?" asked the girl in green. "It means around here, you're music royalty." The elevator doors open to an impossibly large room with a cathedral ceiling dimly lit by ethereal chandeliers, and behind a glass wall on the farthest side, a massive dance club. "Dude," Spider says. "Anything can be a wonderful foundation for a good song, a good story. The uniqueness, and don't take that in the wrong way, of your music, each of yours, different enough, but held together through an eternal bond. Lights of hues never experienced before, and a feeling of giddiness reverberate through the place. It's the basic building blocks. You three get it. You get what music is about. Freedom." They can feel the throbbing bass within senses unfamiliar and strange to them. "Please, let me show you," said the Hornet Man. "Oh, and I wasn't lying about the pie." Within the obscurity, you find your rest. A silent observer or detached guest. The world outside, a fleeting scene. In your tranquil darkness, you remain unseen. Life is for the living. Death is for the dead. Let life be like music, and death a note unsaid. Langston Hughes. The Electric Noir. I'm really happy that people are really vibing with this story. This is Jared Doherty Walsh, and I will see you on the next episode. To be continued, as it were. It's going to be great, trust me. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.